Welcome to the Green Building Show, where we investigate green design and building trends throughout Australia.
In this series of the Green Building Show, we'll be looking at weatherboards. We'll explore their design flexibility, what they're like to build with, how durable they are in all the conditions that the harsh Australian environment can throw at them, and how timber weatherboards stack up against fibre cement weatherboards. In this episode, we'll be talking to builder Dylan Falecki, the building project manager on Channel 10's The Living Room, to get his expert advice and experience on building with weatherboards.
For myself, I like to build for a lifetime, and using fibre cement cladding there's nothing better than it in terms of that material as an external cladding.
But first, let's rewind. Weatherboard houses exploded in popularity in the mid-1850s. The introduction of steam sawmills in cities meant that not only were timber weatherboards readily available, but they were also cheap, easy to transport, and a building product that was simple to build with. From the 1890s until World War I, many of the weatherboard homes popping up in Australia were actually kit homes. Whether it is a beachside suburb or an area with roots in the working class, Australia has had a century-old love affair with weatherboard homes. The homes have timeless charm and beautiful street appeal.
Yeah, regardless of where we live, the look, it's just an Australian staple. It's not only is it easy to look at, they're beautiful, all types, whether it be fibre or timber. It's extremely easy and approachable for the DIYer, for somebody who wants to install weatherboards themselves, who isn't qualified. They can do it themselves rather than bricklaying or other, a little bit more complex and difficult materials. But I think it's got a lot to do with our love affair with, being by the ocean and especially in Sydney, it's mimicked throughout the suburbs and even into the west. And they're durable, and they're so adaptable and flexible. If you have a weatherboard house that you want to extend or renovate or do anything to, it's just so easy to adapt them. They still make old profiles. And it's easy to create profiles if they're not, readily accessible. So it's just such an easy material to work with.
But maintaining a home with timber weatherboards is a labour of love, with constant repairs and maintenance due to the timber reacting to the environment around it. In the 1980s, fibre cement weatherboards began to pick up in popularity as they didn't require the ongoing maintenance that their timber cousins needed.
In general, homeowners are again, very, very, very conscious of cost, and if one or the other can be sold via, the initial cost of install is cheaper. However, the long-term maintenance could be more expensive, as in timber, or fibre, where the initial cost is a little bit higher. However, the long-term durability and benefits are very, very cost-effective. So I think what it comes down to is not so much the visual appeal, because both have the same visual appeal. I think it comes down to dollars and cents for the renovator at this stage.
So what are the two products like to build with?
There are differences between installing fibre cement and timber weatherboards. The key one being the lap and the profile that you're given by the manufacturer. With timber, there is usually some sort of a lap, so a ship lap or something which will give you a gauge. Where fibre cement, the more common cladding, the more common profiles don't give you a lap stop, so you have to make up your own lap gauge, which is Carpentry 101, so you get the same gap all the way around, the same lap, the same height, so when you get to the end of your wall and you do your return, everything looks the same. But generally, it's one of the easiest materials to use as an external cladding.
We asked Dylan how fibre cement weatherboards and timber weatherboards differ in appearance.
Fibre cement weatherboards do differ visually to timber, however, the difference is not that great, and fibre cement companies like Hardy's will make profiles that are very similar to timber. Some of them even have a wood grain finish on them, and they're a lot more durable. They're as easy to work with, and unlike timber, they'll just last a lifetime.
We asked Dylan to talk us through the technicality of building with weatherboards.
The way you can manipulate it is quite effective too. Internal corners, external corners, the profiles, it all works. The whole system works. You have plastic angles, it gets painted, it gets sealed. It's actually, dare I say, enjoyable to work with. As enjoyable as fibrous cement sheet can be enjoyable to work with. Yeah.
So what sort of homes are using weatherboards as their external cladding?
Usually older houses, renovations and updates. The newer houses will normally get clad with blue board and have some sort of texture put on them, but mainly older houses or specific stylistic builds.
Next week, we'll explore weatherboards again. By the sea, in the bush or in the city, we speak to architect Joe Gillies about using weatherboards for external cladding in different Australian environments.